If I'm going to have delta y for the player, I need to change it always on each update and to add it to my y. So here I'm going to add not 1 but my delta y. My delta y will sometimes be actually negative, but most of the time it's going to be a little positive number that is always increasing like this. It should increase with pretty small steps like 0.1. So let's see what is going on. You can see that I was going faster and faster with time, and actually my speed going down is actually getting bigger and bigger. And when I bounce off a platform, I'm still not jumping realistically. I'm again teleporting higher and higher, and I'm keeping my unrealistic huge speed. What I really have to do on this place in my code is not teleport up, but instead change my delta y. Can you guess a good value for my delta y here? It should be such a value that the player is actually going up. So such a value should be negative. We should increase our y by a negative number so that it decreases. And now you can see that when I step on a platform, I don't achieve what I wanted. I wanted to go slightly up, but instead I'm going down with a smaller speed at least. So apparently I'm not happy with what I accomplished here. I've wanted the player to go up in the next few updates because I've wanted to add negative numbers to my y. I can try with an even bigger negative number like 10, and I hope that this fixes my bug. And indeed it does. Perhaps now I'm jumping too much, and also my platforms are too fast, so I'm going to decrease platform y by a smaller number, not 5 but instead 2. And let's see if I like my jump now. Perhaps now my jumps are too big. Perhaps -6 is a good value for my delta y after I step on a platform. Do you like those jumps? Well, actually the game that we can do now is not exactly a rapid draw. A similar game that have bouncy platforms and also normal platforms is Doodle Jump, and I want you to have 3 kinds of platforms. So instead of having only normal bouncy platforms and killer red platforms, perhaps our array is the platform enemy, which is now boolean, should be changed. We should not have only 2 possible values for it. Perhaps we should add meaning to is the platform enemy. So my advice for your second task of your homework is change is the platform enemy to a number array in which 0 means normal platform, 1 might mean bouncy platform, and 2 might mean killer or enemy platform. You can call such an array, for example, platform type. So please create platform type array. Your first task is much more simpler. It's to add game over logs for going outside of the playing field. And task 3 actually makes task 1 redundant or destroys task 1. I want you to make the camera follow the player, just like in the real Doodle Jump. Currently, our game has a fixed camera with a fixed speed, or we can think that the platforms are not moving and we are moving, or we can think that the platforms are moving with a constant speed. But I want you to change this feeling for the player. Instead, I want you to make the platforms stationary, but the camera to be traveling with the speed of the player. So in such a game you will actually need to have a real X and real Y for the platforms and real Y for the player, but you will have to evaluate from those real coordinates. You will have to evaluate temporary screen coordinates when the camera is moving. So this is going to be the whole point of our next lesson, in which we will have a car racer game. So the camera is going to be chasing and always keeping in the center the car of the player, and all the other cars are going to be shown on the screen only if they are near the player. And something similar you need to do in task 3 now. Task 4 is really horrible, and I advise you to not try to do it before task 3. So in task 4 I just want you to copy and paste instead of having nice array like of course this is a name of a variable and array, so it can't have intervals in it. So instead of having array like platform type, why don't we have normal platform X, bouncy platform X, enemy platform X. I think I know why we don't have this, because it's going to be horrible. Normal platform Y. Wait, I can write it easier if I here just did the X to Y's. It is going to be horrible, right? You want a simpler and smarter task, I guess, and I hope. So I think that tasks 2 and 3 are the interesting tasks from this homework, and task 4 is only for those of you that really want to practice horrible solutions just to understand that with platform type we can return most of our code just once, and only in a specific places like this we should consider not what is the platform enemy value, but what is the platform type value for the current platform, and depending on it just move the platform like we did before this video, or just make the game over, or just jump like this, or perhaps in task 5, which is again interesting task, make a new type of platform. For example, a broken platform that you can step on justly for a second, and it then disappears and you fall through it. So this is going to be an interesting task, and I can think of one more task for you, but I'm not sure it's really interesting. The interesting task from your homework is mostly make the camera follow the player, like in Doodle Jump. Task 2 is let the game stops after game over and have a rectangular button for playing again. So I think that those tasks are interesting. Of course, there is one horrible task that I advise you to not do, to do it only if you think that this way is a better one. If you don't like platform type, just try to do 3 different arrays for x's, 3 different arrays for y's, and you will need a lot of code to copy and paste. And if you continue to believe this, then try to make 4 different arrays for x's, 4 arrays for y's, when having even broken platforms. I'm pretty sure that you're going to agree that such an arrays as platform type are useful and are going to make our code much simpler. Good luck with your homework.